Hello Prob Set students. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make the graphs you need to make in your Intro to Google Sheets worksheet. So you're going to need a place to put your data, and you're going to need to open a new Google Sheet. So in your Drive, you want to go to New, Google Sheet, and the Google Sheet should open. All right, go back to your assignment and copy the data that's there, and then you're going to paste it into your Google Sheet. Mine's different from yours because I don't want to do your assignment for you. All right, so first thing we had to do was make a bar graph for the first column. So I'm going to highlight the first column, and I'm going to go to Insert, Chart. And it's going to give me some kind of graph. It might not be the graph that I want, but I'm going to see what it gives me, and I'm going to change it if it's not what I want. So it gave me a bar graph, but it's not the kind of bar graph I want. So I'm going to go over here to the chart editor, and I'm going to change it. It's suggesting that this one, but there are more below if that's not what I wanted. I do want this column chart, which I think was the same as the other one, but I'm going to go with this. Okay? All right, so it's pretty close to what I want. Count of car color is a decent title for it. I can change what I have on the axes here. If you really care to, you can change the color of each individual bar to match the colors. That's up to you if you want to do that. It's not required. All right, so I don't think I need anything changed on the setup. I'm going to customize. Chart style we already chose. Let's look at the chart axes and title. I'm okay with that chart title. There's a drop-down menu here, and I can change it to vertical axis. I'm just going to call that count. And then for my horizontal, I'm going to call that car color. Okay, I'm going to show you a couple of these bars just in case you want to change the color, but I'm not going to change all of the colors right now. All right, so let's see, it's below here. I don't think we need to do anything with series. You can change the color of all of the bars there if you want them all to be a different color. We don't have a legend. Our horizontal axis is fine. You can make the labels bigger if you want with your label font size. You can make the color darker because right now it's kind of a gray on the font, but you can make it black if you want. Let's look at vertical axis. All right, there's nothing that I wanted to change under vertical axis either. I think it's up here under series. So I said here you can change the color of all of the bars. If you want to add, just change the color of one, go to Format Data Point and click Add. You choose the one. So say I would like the bar for black cars to be black. I'm going to choose that. Okay. And I'm going to choose black for that bar. All right, then if I want to change, I like blue to be blue. If I want to change the white to be white, I can add another one. Choose white, okay. And where did that one go? It went below the black. So I want that one to be white. If I make it this color, it actually goes away. So I don't want that. I'm going to just make it a really light color like that. Okay, so if you wanted to change all of the colors, you would go Format Data Point, Add for each one. All right, but we are done with the bar graph. So I'm just going to move it over here. For your assignment, you'll click these three dots and you'll choose Copy Chart, and then you'll paste it into your assignment. All right, so now we're making a circle graph of car make. Yours is different. You're making a circle graph for your middle column, a pie graph, and I'm going to do Insert, Chart. It will give me a chart. It might not be the one I want. All right, so Google Sheets gave me another bar graph. I think it was just thinking that's what I like now. So I'm going to go back to Setup, and I need to scroll up to the top where it says Column Chart, And this looks like a pie chart, but that's really not what I was looking for. So if you scroll down, these are labeled pie. This one's kind of cool looking, the 3D, but I'm just going to go with a regular pie chart. All right, so a pie chart needs a title. This title's a little bit weird. I can actually change it just by double clicking on it. And I think I'm going to call it rate because pie charts don't really show counts, they show rate. Okay, over here, these labels are kind of small. You can make them bigger but with a customizing if you would like to, but they do have a label and they have a percent. So this pie chart's actually fine the way it is. So I'm just going to move that out of the way. You can use these 3 dots right here to copy it, and then you can paste it into your assignment. All right, last one is the histogram. It's a little bit harder than the others, but it's not as hard as making a histogram by hand. So actually before we do the histogram, let's do part 3 where you have to find the mean, the median, the range, and the standard deviation. So I'm going to highlight it. Actually, I'm just going to highlight the numbers. And over here, under functions, the mean is the same as the average. So I'm going to do that, average. And it asks me, is this what I want the average of? And it is. So I just press enter. All right, and it gives me this average. So this is the mean. I'm going to just put this information in another block so it's out of the way. So I'll put it over here, and I'm going to write mean equals this. All right, and I'm going to delete it over here. All right, now I'm going to highlight it again, go over here, and this time I want the mean. So the mean would be, I'm sorry, I did the mean. I want the median. I'm going to go to statistical. There's a lot, but they're in alphabetical order. So I'm going for M for median, and it's right here. Do I want the median of this? Yes, I do. So I press enter, and it tells me 2014 is the median year. So I'm going to put that over here. All right, and I'm going to delete it over here. All right, for the range, I think you can find that under functions, but you can also just find it by subtracting the largest minus the smallest. I don't know what's quicker for you. So range is going to be 2020 minus 1970, which means that we have a range of 50 years in these cars. All right, and standard deviation. Standard deviation is another measure of spread, and I thought it would be a useful thing to think about because actually we can define outliers in terms of standard deviation. So go back over here and then find statistical. We're going in alphabetical order to standard deviation. It's this one, STDEV. And it highlighted all of the right information. I'm going to press enter. It has a standard deviation of about 13.5. Okay, and I'll delete it from over here. So you can then copy this and paste this into your sheet, not mine, of course, because your numbers will be different. But remember, for outlier, we said it's very far from the rest of the information. So a more precise definition would be more than 3 standard deviations from the mean. So if my mean is about 2011, I want to know if 1970 is more than 3 standard deviations from the mean. So let's see, it'd be 2011 minus 3 times 13.5. All right, so that actually gives me 1970.5, which means that 1970 is just barely an outlier. Even though when we do this histogram, it's going to actually look like it's way, way, way an outlier, just to give you an idea of what an outlier actually is. Okay, so now we've done that, we're going to do the histogram. I'm going to highlight the years and go to Insert, Chart. Okay, gave me some sort of chart. That's not what I want, so I'm going to click on Chart Type. And under Other, it looks like it's the second one for me. This is what it looks like. If I hover over it, it does say histogram chart. All right, and then it gives me this crazy histogram where everything is in the same bar. So that's what we need to fix. So let's go over to Customize. And I'm going to go to Horizontal Axis. So I want the minimum value to be the minimum year, 1970. And I want the maximum value to be the maximum year, 2020. And then I need to choose a bin size. Right now it has a bin size of 10 years, and that's okay, but I still have a lot in one. So let me see if I can change my bin size. All right, so my bin size is actually up here where it says histogram. It says bucket size, that's the same as bin size. And instead of auto, we're going to change it to a number, and I'm going to change it to 5. All right, and now this is looking a little bit more like a histogram. Like I said, this looks like it would be a major outlier, but it is only just barely 3 standard deviations from the mean. So it is an outlier, but not as far as we thought it would be. Okay. All right, so then you need to analyze this data with SOX. All right, so if you go back over your histogram video, you might remember that this is actually a left skew when the peak is on the right. So for shape, you would say left skew. Outlier, 1970 is an outlier we determined. You don't have to do 3 standard deviations from the mean to determine that right now because we haven't really practiced that. You could just say that 1970 seems to be an outlier. Center. For the center, you can list the mean and the median that you found previously. And for spread, you can use the range that you found previously. And that's it. Make sure everything is copied, pasted into your assignment, and then you turn it in Google Classroom. Thank you.